hands clenched, teeth gritted. Don't you dare lay down now, not after everything, not after the battles you've fought, the wounds you've endured. Don't you dare let the darkness win. You have survived too much, bled too deeply, fought too hard to surrender now. You are still here, and as long as breath fills your lungs, the story isn't over. Let them regret ever crossing you. Make the darkness wish it had never dared to lay its eyes on you. If this world wants a monster, then show them one. Show them what a warrior with nothing left to lose can do. This is not the end. It is only the beginning. The start of something darker, something stronger, something unbreakable. So wipe the blood from your mouth, straighten your back, and lift that sword one more time. This is no grave. It's a forge. And you're not a victim. You're the reaper. Make them remember why even the shadows fear warriors who refuse to die. You've walked through hellfire, haven't you? Felt the flames licking at your heels, heard the laughter of demons wearing the faces of those you once trusted. You've stared into the abyss with hollow eyes, daring it to swallow you whole, just to end the agony, just to taste silence for a moment. And yet, here you stand, breathing, bleeding, defiant. There's something savage in that, something the darkness will never understand. It's not about winning. It's about refusing to let them take your soul without a fight. It's about spitting blood in the face of every betrayal, every lie, every wound they thought would break you. You weren't supposed to survive this. They never expected you to rise, to claw your way back with shattered fingers and eyes burning with something raw and furious. But that's the thing about warriors. They don't break. They shatter into 1,000 pieces and come back sharper, deadlier. So let them come. Let the darkness throw everything it has. You've faced worse and walked away, limping, perhaps, but unbeaten. This is just another battle in a war that's far from over. I see you. I see the exhaustion in your eyes, the way your shoulders slump under the weight of battles fought alone, of words left unsaid, of wounds that never truly heal. I see the way you grit your teeth when the memories creep in, the way your hands tremble when you think no one's watching. I see the nights when the silence gets too loud, when the guilt crawls up your spine like ice water, whispering all the things you could have done differently, all the lives you couldn't save. And it's brutal, isn't it? The way the past refuses to stay buried, the way it claws its way out of shallow graves wearing the faces of ghosts you can't forget. But you can't change what's dead and gone. No matter how much you bleed, no matter how many times you scream apologies into the dark, it won't rewrite the past. The only thing you can do is use it. Let it fuel the fire in your veins. Let it sharpen your resolve until every step forward is defiance, a promise that you won't fall the same way twice. And yet, they'll keep trying to drag you back, won't they? The ones who swore they'd never leave. The ones who turned away the moment the skies darkened. They'll show up when the smoke clears with apologies that taste like rust and eyes that can't quite meet yours. And it will hurt. God, it will hurt worse than any blade between your ribs. Because a part of you will want to forgive them, will want to believe that maybe, this time, it will be different. But you can't heal in the same hands that broke you. You can't rebuild in a place still soaked with your own blood. You have to cut the ties, even if it feels like tearing out pieces of your own flesh. You have to walk away with clenched fists and a heart that feels too heavy to carry. Because some ghosts aren't meant to be laid to rest. Some bridges need to burn. And that's a pain you have to learn to live with. It's the price of survival. And it's high, but you pay it. Because there's no other choice. Maybe you think you're alone. Maybe you've convinced yourself that no one else could ever understand the wars you fought in silence, the way the shadows creep in when the world goes quiet. But you're not. There are others out there, scarred and weary, carrying the weight of battles that nearly broke them. They walk with their heads down, eyes hardened by loss, souls stitched together with desperation and defiance. Find them. Find the ones who bleed like you do, who wear their scars like armor instead of shame. Fight beside them, even if you can't find the words to explain why your hands won't stop shaking. Even if some nights you forget how to breathe. You don't have to face this alone. You were never meant to. Warriors fight in packs, shields interlocked, backs unbent. Find your pack, even if it takes crawling through the mud and shadows to do it. But even if you don't, even if the road stretches empty before you, you keep walking. You keep dragging yourself forward, step by agonizing step. Because the alternative, lying down and letting the darkness have you, that's not who you are. You are the kind of soul that burns too bright. The kind that spits in the face of gods and demons alike, refusing to bow, refusing to kneel. You are not a victim. You are not some tragic story written in past tense. You are a wildfire, scorching everything that tries to chain you down, turning pain into power, grief into fuel. You are proof that even the most shattered souls can become something fierce, something the dark learns to fear. So scream if you have to. Roar your defiance at skies that offer no mercy, at gods who have never answered, at enemies who think you're on your last breath. Let them hear the rage, the heartbreak, the betrayal. Let them know you're not done yet, not by a long shot. You have too much left to fight for, even if you can't see it through the blood and the tears. There is a dawn out there somewhere, waiting for the day you rise from the ashes, with eyes that burn like hellfire and a soul that refuses to break. Chase it. Bleed for it. Tear apart everything that stands in your way until the world has no choice but to remember your name. Remember the warrior who refused to die quietly, because that's who you are, that's who you've always been. The darkness can take your hope, your peace, your faith, but it can never take the fire in your chest, the iron in your spine. It can never take the way you bare your teeth at the abyss and step forward anyway, daring it to try and swallow you whole. And maybe you won't win. Maybe you'll go down fighting, sword in hand, curses on your lips and blood on your boots. But if that's how it ends, then let them tell stories of the warrior who faced hell and spat in its face. Let them remember you for the battles you fought, not the ones you lost. Let them carve your name into the bones of the earth, a warning to every shadow that thinks it can take the light without a fight. So don't give up. Don't you dare. As long as your heart still beats, as long as there is breath in your lungs, this war isn't over. The darkness hasn't won, and it won't, not unless you let it. So tighten your grip on that sword, wipe the blood from your eyes, and rise. Rise like the storm they never saw coming, like the nightmare that refuses to fade. Make them fear you, make the darkness regret the day it ever reached for your soul. And don't stop fighting, not now, not ever. The fight isn't over, the war isn't won. But you're still standing, so rise again and again, until the world knows your name. Let the darkness learn to fear you. Let the scars tell your story, not of defeat, but of defiance. And when they look back, let them see a warrior who refused to break. Now go, fight, rise, and never let them forget. If you're ready, comment yes and subscribe.